team captains were selected. It will be offensive lineman Zach Zinter and Trevor Keegan, defensive back Mike Sainristil, linebacker Michael Barrett, defensive lineman Chris Jenkins, and of course running back Blake Corum. Mike Sainristil, of course, now a two-time captain. What did you make of the selections? I know you said that this is not surprising to anyone. If we had to pick six, this probably would have been the six that we would have picked, given the fact that it seems like their criteria was to focus on those senior and graduate guys. So what do you think of the 2023 captains?
Yeah, no seems like it about it. One of them said, I think it was Chris Jenkins, who said that it was only open, that J.J. McCarthy wasn't on the ballot. It was only open to the seniors and the guys ahead of him. So, in fact, in the football preview, I always write predicting who the captains might be. These are six guys that I think I included. And then I said J.J. McCarthy, if they would have gone that route as well. I said it could be up to 8-10 guys. Jalen Harrell could have been a captain as well. I can go right down the list, of guys that I think could have or should have been. And but great choices here. These guys are great leaders. They all came back for another year when they probably didn't have to, if we're being honest. A lot of these guys were, if not all of them, were considering the NFL. So now, as I wrote this morning, you know what? J.J. McCarthy can come back next year and be an official captain. So, but he will be a captain as well in the field. Like I said in my article, there is no better leader on this team. These guys gravitate to him. He's like the Pied Piper out there. So great kids, great representatives of the university, great choices as captains.
Yeah, and people are going to fixate on the J.J. McCarthy thing too, because it's, a returning starting quarterback. Michigan's had junior captains in the past. Aiden Hutchinson was one. I think Ben Bredesen was one as well, Devin Bush. But again, I think you hit the nail on the head with why they went the direction they did. All six of these guys in a different timeline could be in NFL training camps right now. And the fact that they decided to come back, it feels like the third part of a three-part trilogy for guys like Zinter and Keegan, who have started going back to that 2021 season. So not really surprising there. I think, and that's, Jim Harbaugh's called these guys servant leaders before. It's a roster full of guys like that. I think you could go through every position group and say, wow, that guy, that guy's, if not the leader of his room, one of the best leaders on the team. And, I think leadership, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, given what's going on with coaching staff right now, I think the leadership, the culture is obviously, it's always important, but I think it carries a little more weight this year with those amount of guys that they have. But I will say this, given what they have on the roster, I don't know that, again, captain, it's a tremendous honor. No one will ever take that away from you. To be a captain at the University of Michigan is, there have been probably tens of thousands of guys that have come through that program. I don't know, math is hard, but thousands of guys that have come through that program over the years. And, only 4, 5, 6 of them at a time are named captains. So you can't take that away from them. But on this particular group in this particular season, it's an honor, but I don't know that it's necessarily an elevation or a pedestal above everyone else. It's just kind of, these are the go-to guys. This is that leadership console that they will lean on.
Yep, and I love it. It starts really with Blake Corum. That was a no-brainer. He was like the unanimous pick, I think Mike Sainristil said, but we knew Mike Sainristil was going to be a captain again, too. He's that good, and he was a captain last year, so those were the no-brainers. And then after that, the other guys were pretty much no-brainers, too. I've been predicting Chris Jenkins forever. The guys love him. He's doing a fantastic job. So all great selections, and again, loved hearing the stories about talking to their parents. Zach Zinter said his parents are on a plane getting ready to go to Ireland to watch his brother play for Notre Dame. But I love the fact that it's both the guards, man, on the inside. I just, those guys in the trenches. I like offensive linemen who are captains. But across the board, man, any one of those guys would have been an elite pick. They were all great picks.
Absolutely. And the one thing about Captain's Day, it's fun to hear those stories and to hear, what it means to you. A guy like Michael Barrett, this is his 6th year with the program, and a lot of uncertainty at times early on, moved positions a few times, has kind of, fought through a lot to get on the field and stay on the field. And, he's essentially entrenched as a starter now, and to hear like what it means to a guy like him is awesome. With Blake Corum, there is, of course, the storyline of coming back for that extra year, coming off the injury. It feels like with a lot of these guys, they were made to sort of be in that role. The other thing about when we do these press conferences is it's 6 guys to talk to, and there's a limited amount of time. So they do kind of get through the sessions pretty quickly. But were there anything that, I mean, captain stuff or otherwise, that you took away from the guys we heard from on Thursday afternoon?
Well, not a lot. We asked specific questions about position groups. Chris Jenkins is a freak. Freshman DJ Waller going to be special. I'm writing an article about that right now. He's been a surprise at corner. Josh Wallace is probably going to start at corner, I think. And Mike Sainer still said the guy is a great cover corner and that he's really, really accepted the culture and taken to the coaching. So just basically everything we know. I know that there are a lot of guys banged up, but it's good to see that all these guys come out. Blake Corum saying he's healthier than he's ever been. So that's good stuff. Now we're just, what we've talked so much in the offseason, AB, it's really just time to get to next Saturday and talk about a game and how guys played in it, because, I'm pretty much all talked out here about how good this team is going to be.
Yeah, it feels like we've spent, almost 9 months talking about, oh gosh, the culture's so good.
Right,
oh gosh, they're
right.
so deep. Oh, they could break the NFL draft record. And finally, starting Monday now, it's going to be not just a lot of the stuff from fall camp, the position battles. We know that some of those will go into the season, but it's go time. And it's the next step on the road to the what Jim Harbaugh terms the happy mission. So excited to get to that. Excited really just to be back in a routine. I know we've all kind of taken a little bit of time just the last couple of weeks to get one last little bit of enjoyment out of our summers, but it's here, and wouldn't have it any other way.